Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you how I made over $10,000 my first month trading stocks. Welcome to the new studio, guys. Welcome to my gambling addiction. Basically, my girlfriend's mad at me because I've been trading stocks at 1:30 in the morning because I'm here in Australia and over there in the US, that's just the time difference. So she's mad at me. I've been kicked out. This is my new studio. I'm going to show you how I made $10,000 in my first month trading stocks as a complete beginner. Let's jump into the video. So guys, after seeing that massive crash that we had when COVID first hit and stocks just went down, like discounted 50%, it was crazy. And you know, I was not prepared for it then. I did not realize like how much money I was missing out on, absolutely missing out on so much money by not investing in the stock market. You know, there was so many times where, you know, everything was down and it would have been as simple as putting, you know, a couple of $1,000s in at a reasonable leverage and it would have just absolutely been a huge money maker. I could really see why massive exchange of wealth happens when the markets crash. A lot of the, you know, the people who aren't prepared for it lose a lot of money, and it's very sad. But the people that are prepared for it gain a ton of money, and that's why, you know, when it came up to the US election and I knew there was going to be some volatility, that's when I took full advantage of it and had myself prepared to get some skin in the game. So that's really what it came down to. You know, you get certain opportunities when there is going to be volatility in the market and you need to know you don't even need to know what you're doing, but you need to be prepared. You need to have an account set up. You need to have money to put in there, and it's as simple as that. So let's go through and have a look at some of the massive gains that I've had, you know, over a couple of weeks or even a month of trading as a beginner. You know, whether you call it luck or skill or whatever, I'd like to think it was skill. Probably more so luck, but I have made over $10,000 investing in stocks and cryptocurrencies over the past week, and it's going crazy. I just thought I'd share with you guys how exactly I did it, the problems that I had, where I lost money, what I've learned now, what I would have done differently. And you know, if I had known what I know now in the beginning, I would have probably tripled how much money I've made. So let me go through some examples. Let me first show you my account, my stock market account, so that you know I'm not mucking around here. So you're on screen record on my phone. As you can see, eToro is the platform I'm using. That's the stock trading account, because in Australia you don't have like Webull or any of that stuff. So eToro, I'll leave a link in the description. That's my favorite platform for trading. Otherwise, yeah, in America and stuff, you've got, you know, Webull and that, but I'll leave a link in the description to eToro, which is really good. You can copy other traders, it has all your stocks on there. So going to go into history. We're going to go into history, cash flows. So these are all my deposits. As you can see, I've deposited $23,700 US, which equates to about 31,000 Australian dollars, which is what I'm from Australia. That's what I'm working in. And that was about 33,000 Australian dollars that cost me with all the transfer fees of putting it in this account, which is one of those things I wish there was another way around. And if I do put money in the future, I'll be avoiding those fees. Okay, so we've got $33,000 deposited, Australian dollars deposited into the account. And we're just going to go to my portfolio, and it's now sitting at about $43,700. So that's $10,700 in profit. As you can see, these are all the things I've invested in: Apple, Google, Tesla, you know, Shopify, and a couple of cryptocurrencies and stuff. So for instance, when we had the US election on, there was a lot of uncertainty in the market, and a lot of stocks were going up, down, round and round, doing some pretty crazy things. You've got certain companies like Tesla, which was bouncing around the 400 mark before the election, which I think was pretty undervalued. So I was buying a lot of Tesla around that time. And as you can see now, Tesla's been added to the S&P 500. Well, it's getting added, you know, as we're recording this, and it's sitting at like almost $700 for the stock, and I was buying it around $400. So we made a massive profit on that. once the cure got announced for COVID, I actually invested in Dave & Buster's, which was a company very heavily hit by COVID, but as soon as that cure was announced, I dumped about $1,000 into Dave & Buster's, and now we're sitting at about a 50% profit on that. So that was another good trade that I made. Tesla's the main one. The thing is with Tesla right now, it's very overvalued, around $700 in my opinion. And I did think after it got added to the S&P that it would just either crash or the hype would be over and it would come down a bit. So what I did start doing is once I put about, I can't remember the exact amount, I put a fair bit into Tesla, around 400, and then as it got to 600, anything past 600, I started selling because I thought it was overvalued at 600. So between about 600 and 650, I probably sold about half of my position, and then past 650, I sold about another quarter of my position. So I still have a bit in Tesla, but I've sold a fair chunk of it because I do think it will come down below 600 again, and that's when I'm going to buy back in. So that's my plan with Tesla. You know, this has really opened my eyes to the stock market and how savers are absolute losers. You should have your money in the stock market. It just makes total sense. I probably got a bit lucky, well, very lucky on this one. In the last month, we've made a ton of money, over $10,000 in profit, and that's not even including my plus 500 account, which we made another like $2,500 in profit as well, trading cryptocurrencies. When it comes to plus 500, it's only leverage trades that you can do. And I really had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. And I'm gonna show you right now that one point where I could have made a ton, and I mean a ton of money on cryptocurrency. Now, I first opened this account and I got started, all right, so I'm gonna show you right here on my phone. All right, so this one on the 6th of the 11th, Ripple, this trade was 15,000 contracts of Ripple, and I made $141 profit in that. That trade was because I saw Bitcoin skyrocketing. Bitcoin was going through the roof, like back in 2017, 3 years ago, because I remember watching it 3 years ago and it was doing some crazy things. And after Bitcoin goes up, they all follow, all the little ones follow. So after I saw Bitcoin going crazy, I was like, yeah, I'll buy a ton of Ripple and, you know, it'll go up as well. I'm sure it will go up because it was sitting at a very low point, around 23, 22 US cents. So I bought 15,000 contracts, and that was at a very high leverage trade. And yeah, so it started to go up a little bit. It went up like 1 cent, and I was like, oh, I'll just cash out now, right? Because I was like, oh, I see 140 profit, that's awesome. You know, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was playing around. 140 profit, I'll just take it. So I closed that position, and it continued to go up. As you guys know now, Ripple's hitting at like almost 70 cents. So from what I know now to what I knew back then, this is what I would have done differently. If I knew Ripple was going to go up like that following Bitcoin, and it was sitting at its lowest low, and I didn't think it was going to go any lower, because obviously I didn't want to lose out on a 1, you know, to 20 leverage trade, I would have set a trailing stop loss, which means it, you know, if it goes up and then it stops and it starts coming back down, it would hit the stop loss and it would take the profit or take a small loss. Instead of just closing the trade, you would set a very short trailing stop loss so that if it does start going back down, it instantly sells. If I had done that, because it went on a clean run up to 70 cents, it followed Bitcoin like I thought it would, but I got scared and I cashed out. If I had just set the trailing stop loss, it would have been the same amount of risk. There would have been, you know, maybe I would have lost, like, maybe if it did go back down, it would have been $130 profit it took instead of 140. But 140 profit, if I had set that trailing stop loss and it went up to 70 cents, that probably would have been a $10,000 or $15,000 win. Like, there would have been a $10,000 to $15,000 profit, Australian profit, off that one trade in cryptocurrencies, because I didn't know about a trailing stop loss. So that was a massive mistake on my behalf, and yeah, that's still hurting me to this day. I started to work it out a bit more. As you can see, there's a couple more trades here. Now this one, Stellar, is the next one that I presumed is going to follow Bitcoin. And I did start to work out the stop losses then. So when it comes to Stellar, I bought, you know, so many contracts. And it started going up and I had like $200 profit. I was like, oh, I'll close the trade here, make my profits, you know, take it. I was like, no, I'll set the trailing stop loss, which is what I did. So it got to 200, set the trailing stop loss for, you know, 190 or whatever. So if it did start to come back down at all, it would just hit the stop loss. I wouldn't lose any money. But it just kept going up and up and up and up, like Ripple did. It went up and up and up. So Stellar, we made about $1,000 before it decided to bump back down and hit the trailing stop loss. But it actually ended up going a lot further too. So if I set that stop loss a little bit further back, it would have gone much higher. Anyways, then I did the same thing with Ripple. You can see $596 trade. And then we did that on Tesla actually, as it was going up. I put a high leverage trade on Tesla, and then we set the trailing stop loss on that too. So that was a $700 trade there. And as you can see, all these red ones, that's money that I've lost. Now, they're all the stop losses that I've hit. So what I was trying to do is get these big, huge runs on the cryptocurrencies. And what I would do is I would say, okay, it's gone down a bit, now it's starting to go back up. I'll put a trade in and I'll set a stop loss right behind it. And then, you know, if it goes down, it hits my stop loss. But if it goes on one of those massive runs again, then I make big dollars. As you can see, I've got all these little losses in the red, like $60, you know, $100, $30, all these little losses. But then I'll have one massive, like $863 gain, $700 gain, $500, $600 gain. So I'm losing all these little chunks of money, hitting my stop losses, but then I would catch those massive runs. So that was my tactic with cryptocurrencies. Now, obviously, this isn't going to work all the time. This is a once in like every 3 years opportunity when Bitcoin does its huge run up, which has happened time and time again. Every, you know, couple of years, it does these huge run ups, and then all the other cryptos follow it up. So in 3 more years, or whenever it happens again, or if it crashes or if it keeps going up, whatever, we don't know. But if I do see them all go down again and then Bitcoin just skyrockets and they all stay the same, they usually stay the same for a bit, all the little ones, but then they eventually follow Bitcoin, I'll be ready and I'll have big, high leverage dollars on those little ones and I'll catch their run. That's my plan anyways. Obviously, by the way I'm talking about this, you guys can probably tell I'm a very novice trader. I'm completely new to this and I'm learning everything as I go. That's why, like, you know, if I'd known more about this to begin with, I'm sort of learning as I go, then I would have made a lot more money on that first trade, Ripple, XRP. But as you can see, I mean, I just find it very interesting, you know, how much money's been made and how much volatility has been in the stock market the last couple of weeks. After the election, all that uncertainty has just made these, you know, these good, solid companies just going up and down. And, you know, when there's fear in there, that's the time you want to buy, and that's just the most basic of principles. Of course, I don't expect gains like this all the time because you really need that volatility to, you know, to take full advantage of. So my plan is just to wait for more volatility or buy on heavily red days. You know, I think Meet Kevin, Financial Education, they're both on YouTube. And they do really great like analysis of stocks, certain stocks, really great advice on there. I've been watching those guys a lot. They do a lot of the reading for me, so I don't have to do it. So I'm basically just piggybacking on their advice and adding a little bit of my own sort of strategy to it, which has been working well so far. I'm gonna keep investing in stocks. Let me know what you guys think, if I've done anything wrong, if you saw anything there that you could help me out by leaving me a comment or give me any advice. Please do so, as I'm new to this, but so far it's going very well. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, much appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one.